Someone said being white in America is like being right-handed. And my first thought was, what the heck does that mean? Then he went on to describe some of the things that were just constructed for them. First, he said, look at a pair of scissors. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? By design, they were made for right-handed people, which means someone who is not right-handed will struggle even though they have the same tools as a right-handed person because the tool's not designed for them. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, that's only one example. Now look at a desk in a classroom. 99.999999% of the time, they're going to be made for right-handed people. And after thinking about it, I realized that I never thought about that a day in my life. And that's because I'm right-handed and I really never noticed. It's not that you don't have white privilege, it's just that you don't notice it.
My job is to pretend like what I'm going to say about white privilege will make a difference with people who are determined to misunderstand it. In an LA Times article, actor Bryan Cranston admitted that things needed to change. He needed to change after the murder of George Floyd. Cranston admitted that he had a blind spot that he deemed privilege. He added, if there's one, there's two. And if there's two, there are 20 blind spots that I have. What else am I blind to? White privilege does not mean that European Americans are without struggles, hardships, and tough times. No, it means that those things aren't caused by your skin color. It's telling that when we talk about white privilege, those who deny its existence don't claim to be impacted by America's structures and institutions. Their go-to argument is, I'm not rich, or for more emphasis, I'm poor and white. I'll get back to this in a minute. Now, by privilege, I mean a right, immunity, or benefit oftentimes unearned. So if you choose to look at privilege on an individual basis and say, oh, Dr. Richie has a show and I don't, then you need to Google him. As you already know, white privilege became more mainstream when Peggy McIntosh wrote an essay called White Privilege: Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, where she explains ways in which her skin color has advantaged her in her life. If your response to this essay is, well, some of what Peggy says is middle class or first world privilege, just know that middle class status isn't as easily attained by black people. Those like Peggy McIntosh and Jane Elliott, the anti-Karen, acknowledge what it's like to live in a country with their sense and sensibilities in mind. I don't know where this came from, but who wants them, or any white person for that matter, to apologize for their lack of melanin or to feel guilty for being white? Just recognize the many ways you've been given the benefit of the doubt. White privilege is not an indictment on hard work. Let's not forget, gaining something from your hard work is a privilege in and of itself. You're not putting in more work than any brown person working the citrus fields, Drew. I am, somehow, less interested in the weight and convolutions of Einstein's brain than in the near certainty that people of equal talent have lived and died in cotton fields and sweatshops. Even though white privilege is the foremost advantage in this beautiful country of ours, it's not the only form of privilege. I mean, I have long arm privilege, but I know it. And when old women ask me to get stuff off the top shelf at the grocery store, I do it. Why not help with an asset you've been given? With that said, I didn't earn my long arms and I didn't work hard for them. And I'm not going to apologize to short arm people or feel guilty around them. And short arm people aren't suddenly armists for telling me I have long arms. As I mentioned earlier, if you're poor and white, Hassan Kwame Jeffries, professor at The Ohio State University and writer, says plainly, what CRT tells us is that white privilege is real, but it's called white privilege, not white guarantee. You just have the privilege of not dealing with certain obstacles because you're black or brown. So don't get mad at me because you couldn't capitalize on your whiteness. Bryan Cranston has come to realize and will come to realize these things. It's not too late for anyone. He said, I'm 65 years old now and I need to learn, I need to change. For Rebel HQ, I'm Jeff Wiggins. My architect knows Japanese. For more from the Young Turks, stay right here. If you want to see content from yours truly, click on the hashtag below. I can also be found on all socials at He Gon' Be Alright. Thanks for watching.